record, you guys. Hey everyone, it's Anna, and I'm back with another vintage cookbook. This time I'm reviewing Wonderful Ways with Soup from Campbell's. This book was published in 1958 by the Campbell Soup Company. The opening page of this book is signed Carolyn Campbell, Home Economics Department, Campbell Soup Company. Is Carolyn Campbell related to the family? What's going on here? Honestly, I don't know if there's a Campbell family. Who knows how this company was started? I'm sure someone does, but it's not me. Anyway, it seems like a lot of vintage cookbooks have very generic opening letters from the Home Economics Department. I love this little Campbell kid saying, "Have you had your soup today?" Reading through this book, I do wonder if people relied more on canned soup in the past. I mean, of course, I have had canned soup. I love a grilled cheese tomato soup moment. They talk about having a soup shelf in your pantry, in your kitchen, eating soup on picnics. I don't know if having a soup shelf was a common thing or if that was purely a marketing move for Campbell Soup. They also talk about frozen condensed soup, which I was not really aware of. And I was really wondering what this looked like, but luckily, at the end of the book, there's a little illustration, and you know how much I love this when they show the packaging of the past on some of their products. And you can see here, Campbell's frozen soups. And it really looks like one of those frozen containers of orange juice concentrates. Why did they sell frozen condensed soup if they also had canned condensed soup? What was the difference? Was it just kind of trendy to have frozen food in your product line in the 50s? So I wanted to start with these opening illustrations. Look at this page header. I love it. I mean, so cute. This is a style I really love. The illustrations themselves are usually very fun and whimsical, but then the photographs in this book, I don't know what you would call this style, but it's very sparse and stark, and it looks very serious. So like still life with soup. I do really love this bowl though. I mean, it looks like Neapolitan ice cream. If you look at the back cover of this, we have another one of these photos. So plain, with this white background, and it looks a little Christmassy. I mean, these do look like Christmas trees. That looks like Christmas greenery, but it is parsley, and that looks like a Christmas bulb, but it's an onion, so I don't know if they were going for a Christmas feel or if it just kind of ended up like that on accident. The opening to this chapter starts with, "Take a can of soup, and what fun and good eating you have in store. With such a variety of soups available in cans, every meal may feature a different favorite from the one before, until you've gone through all the kinds on your kitchen shelf and those in your freezer." So again, we're talking about this soup shelf thing. I just don't know if that was real. Hearty soups are often the mainstay of a soup plate meal. For instance, a brimming bowl of vegetable beef soup with a double-deck sandwich adds up to a man-pleasing dinner or lunch most anytime. Of course, man-pleasing meals, very important in these cookbooks. There are lots of different types of sections in this book. One can of soup plus, where you kind of fancy up a can of soup with some additions. This one is 2 cans of soup. It just means that you combine 2 different cans of soup together to make one super soup. Soup mates is the name for it when you mix 2 soups to make a new soup that's very personally your own. That's not a thing. Soup mates is not a thing, so that is not what it is called. One of the recipes on this page that really caught my eye, rosy beef noodle twosome. That is a lot of fun to say. It's really just condensed beef noodle soup and tomato soup mixed together. There's a paragraph in the 2 cans of soup plus section that I wanted to share. For the mightier meals, you'll enjoy combining 2 kinds of soup with that something extra, and you'll be a lady of leisure as you ladle heaping bowlfuls of these favorites. I love this idea of like, get your soup and you're a lady of leisure. Soup and Leisure magazine. I'd subscribe. There's so many things in here that just seem very made up. Soup always, and this rooster is just precious, and we've got a little picnic here. This page opens with, "Let's have soup." Today you're likely to hear this from dad or the youngsters most anytime, all around the clock. Because soup has many charms. The many charms of soup. There are people who eat soup for breakfast, totally, but it's not something where I've heard anybody say, 4 a.m. let's have soup, 2 p.m. let's have soup. Like, nobody is telling me let's have soup. They're not begging for soup. There was one idea in this book that I found particularly interesting, and they're calling it party patterns. Basically what this is taking a couple of different colors of soup, putting them in a pan with a pour spout and putting designs in them. So I think we're talking early latte art with soup. This was one of my favorite things in this entire book. Kids love soup from the nursery up. From the toddling stage on, kids love soup. Among 1-year-olds, 4 out of 10 eat soup. 7 out of 10 2-year-olds also eat soup. Okay, what was this market research like? What was the sample size here? I need more information. How did you do this? Oh, it's made up? Oh, what a surprise. But I'm just imagining a room with 10 1-year-olds and bowls of soup. That sounds dangerous and messy. Soup break. About 10 in the morning, when you've spruced up half the house and still have half to go, stop for soup. Then you'll be ready to forge ahead with duster and vacuum. Time for my soup break, don't interrupt me. There's just these little paragraphs kind of like interspersed throughout the book with different ideas. This is kind of insulting maybe. There's a particular word in here that I have seen in other cookbooks. Treat for Gramps. Oldsters like soup. Oldsters. That's the word I've seen in a lot of other cookbooks, oldsters. Oldsters like soup because it's a dish that's both appetizing and nourishing. Oldsters. So not only does this cookbook feature different ways to just spruce up your canned soups, it also has a lot of recipes in it like using canned soups to cook with. My favorite meatloaf, a new podcast from Exactly Right. Of course, this recipe had to appear here. Yummy porcupine meatballs. I'm finding that this is in nearly every vintage cookbook that I pick up. They also have rink tum diddy rabbit. Again, not a recipe I was aware of before I made it for another video, but here it is. I'm seeing this in several books. Vegetables with glamour. Look at these cute vegetables with little eyelashes, like they're all dolled up to go out on the town. I thought this book was appropriate for the time because the weather is turning a little more chilly. It is soup season. I found today's recipe in the 1 can of soup plus section. Today I'm going to be preparing peanut butter bisque. I've had peanut butter plenty of times in savory dishes, peanut sauce, peanut noodles, that kind of thing. This recipe combines a can of cream of chicken soup and peanut butter. I don't know if I'm gonna like this, but I'm ready to find out. Let's get started. In order to make peanut butter bisque, you are going to need 2 tablespoons of minced onion. I tossed out all of my onions because of the recall, so I am going to be using dehydrated onion. 1 tablespoon of butter or margarine. 1/4 cup of peanut butter. You can use chunky or smooth here. I'm using smooth. 1 can of condensed cream of chicken soup with 1 soup can full of water. And then you can garnish your finished dish with either parsley, shredded carrots, or celery. I think you can guess which one of those I will not be using. In saucepan, cook onion in butter until tender, but not browned. So I'm gonna go ahead and melt the butter in this pan and then let my dehydrated onion sort of like rehydrate in there a little bit. I think I'm gonna use just like a little bit less onion since it's dehydrated. Sizzling with the best of them. Next, it says to blend in the peanut butter. We need to get you in there because my onion is a-burning. Add soup, water, and milk. It's smelling real toasty in here. Soup, and then I'll get some water. I've got 1 soup can of water. And I'm gonna start blending that just a little. Or milk. This is making a lot more than I expected. Okay, it says heat, stirring occasionally. I'm gonna whisk it just to break up like the soup lumps in here. I must admit I have never thought of combining these flavors. Someone at the Campbell's home economics department was getting really creative in 1958. And hey, I don't know, maybe this is another one of those recipes that I thought was kind of different and interesting, but as it turns out is really common. So if it is, please let me know in the comments down below. Is there anything else I have to do? No. I mean, once it's heated through, I just throw it in a bowl and garnish with some of those vegetables I talked about. So I think that's it. So that's what we got here. Since that's it, I think I'm gonna put a little bit of this in a bowl, maybe clean up my mess a little and give it a taste. Update, the soup was not heated through, so I had to let it go for just a little bit longer. I've got my ladle. This is a 1-ounce ladle and I absolutely love it for silver dollar pancakes. It smells like peanut butter. Like the peanut butter is very dominant. I'm just gonna sprinkle some dry parsley on it. I was gonna do carrots, but I'm lazy. Yeah, very, very peanutter. Peanutter-y. Very peanutty. Here we go. It's not bad together. I can smell a lot of the peanut butter, but I can't taste very much of it in here. It's not bad, but I'm not sure that there's really a need to put these things together. Oh, that was weird. I just got a little piece of chicken. I was like, what is that? It's a little puzzling. Maybe it is supposed to be a take on peanut soup, but I can't say that I've ever had a peanut soup like this. Will I make this again? I gotta say there are a lot of other soups I would rather make than this, but it actually doesn't taste bad or anything. It's fine. I'm not gonna let this go to waste. I'll eat it, but I don't think I'll be making this one again. I cooked a recipe from Wonderful Ways with Soup from Campbell's. Thank you so much for watching my videos. I really, really appreciate each and every one of you coming back week after week, watching me do these weird food experiments. If you like this video, you might like my other videos, and you might consider subscribing to my channel. I post content similar to this just about every week. If you'd like to see what else I'm up to, you can visit me on Instagram. My handle is _cookingthebooks_. Thanks again, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!